If Brazil or Argentina or any South American team wins it, how does that shift your mentality going into future World Cups?
I'm going to be completely honest, haven't even thought about it because I'm that certain that they won't lift it. I haven't even thought about it.
If it does happen, I'm coming back on the pod.
We're giving you
an Argentina jersey that you're going to have to wear.
You're going to have to shave your head.
And I deserve a public apology. Oh, him too. Yeah.
I will apologize publicly.
Yeah.
I will. I will go to Argentina. I will kiss the ground. Yeah. I will do whatever it takes. I will apologize.
Hello and welcome back to the Give and Go. I am your co-host Reynoso here with my boy
Soltero. What's up, guys?
And we actually got a surprise for y'all because we are welcoming in an avid fanatic of the sport, a man that has made a presence and a community for himself in the social media world, specifically Instagram. We have a man that what can I say?
Keep hyping him up.
We have a man who comes from the beautiful airs and breezes of Argentina, and that actually lives relatively close to us. So he came onto the show, and that man is none other than Agustin from DFO, Debatable Football Opinions. Welcome, brother.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. You overhyped the heck out of me. The expectations are like up here.
No. Let's have fun. Let's have some fun.
It's worth it. It's worth it. You've earned that. You've earned that respect, man.
Absolutely.
Happy to have you on, man. Appreciate you coming in, man.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. Whenever you told me that I was like their first guest, I got so nervous. I was like, damn, expectations are also like up here. No, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, man. Just here to talk football, honestly, because we've been doing these deep dives, and I actually was looking forward to this because for once we get to stray away from that format, man. Let's just talk football. Let's just talk about what's been going around the world. I have no set list, nothing to go off of. How y'all been doing?
Been doing good, man. I've been actually doing
I never ask you that, man. I never ask you how you're doing.
Weather's good out here in Austin, right?
It's a little hot still, man. I'm not gonna lie.
It's It's very hot. But there's a lot of entertaining football. Out right now. I think something I want to hear y'all's opinion about right off the bat is, dude, I think that the more I watch them play, the more that I see it just with my own eyes, dude. Napoli is going through something truly special, bro.
Yeah,
truly special. Yep. So much so, man, that I think we're seeing a champion in the making. Thing is, I don't know for what league. I don't know if it's a champion for Champions League. I don't know if it's a champion for Serie A, but we are seeing a champion. Maybe it's just a domestic cup, but we're seeing a team that's going to win a title, bro.
It makes no sense that you lose Koulibaly, Mertens, and Insigne, basically the three most crucial players in your team, and you are able to, I guess, get better from last year because they have been getting better. Their scout system that they have is insane. We're hearing about players that I've never heard of before the season.
For real?
Yeah, and they're killing it. I don't know when they're gonna this form is gonna stop, if it ever is gonna stop this season. But so far, top of the league?
Yep.
Yeah, top of the Champions League. They already qualified to round of 16. And not just getting the results, because a lot of teams can get the results without playing good football, but this team plays amazing, beautiful football, and they get the results.
That's actually a really good point, man, because losing Mertens, Insigne, and especially for me, Koulibaly, how do you replace that? But do they immediately replace it? Kim, the South Korean from Fenerbahce, has honestly completely lived up to Koulibaly's expectations. He's completely filled in that hole for me, and honestly, he's just as good for me. And on that defensive end, he's an elite center back, and so they don't miss anything back there. And then for Mertens and Insigne, Kvaratskhelia.
Bruh.
It's the perfect replacement.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they haven't missed a beat. They've only improved. Yeah. Absolutely. That's a really good point.
I'm pretty sure they're like one of the highest scoring teams in Europe, which is just insane. Yeah. They've given, I think, Ajax 10 goals in the last week, bro.
It's interesting that you bring it up. They have more goals than anyone in their group combined, and then they also have more goals than anyone in the Champions League so far.
Good
goals
Lord,
in favor.
man.
It's insane.
That's insane. And you mentioned him, Kvaratskhelia, man. We mentioned him like the first week of the pod, but even looking back at that, man, I didn't think he'd be this good.
Oh,
I didn't think he'd be this, bro. The game against Ajax, man. He was he was like the final decision maker in that final third. The way he cooked my boy Jorge Sanchez from America.
Oh, dude.
The way he cooked him, bro. I was like, oh my God, the difference in quality is ridiculous. But he did it to everyone, man. Everyone. Feeding players, just laying off these passes. It's a beautiful thing to see, man.
It's kind of funny because for me, you're right. We featured Kvaratskhelia in the third week of Serie A. So we only had 3 games of this guy just to see how good he was. We could immediately tell how good he actually was. But it's kind of The way that I see it, it's kind of similar to how when European basketball players come to the NBA, no one knows where they come from, and then they can start popping off because they just have no exposure out in Europe.
Yeah.
This is the same thing. Kvaratskhelia playing in Russia and in Georgia, two leagues that really get no exposure globally, and then he comes to Serie A and just is on fire.
All right, so one of the big reasons I want to bring you on is because you are from Argentina, the
Correct.
beautiful country, and I was just overall interested to hear your thoughts on our deep dive, but also know your thoughts on this Argentine squad overall and the national team going into this World Cup. How do you feel about them, man? How are people from Argentina feeling? How's your family feeling about them, man? I'm truly interested to know just the whole outlook you have on this team.
So needless to say, we're super excited about it, super happy, especially with the World Cup about 38 days away. It's
crazy.
Just to cap it up, 35 games unbeaten. We got we haven't won a trophy since 93 thing out of the way. We won the Copa America. We won the Finalissima against Italy. True. Now, what else is next? The unbeaten record is maybe, 4 games away, I think. 4 games to tie it, 5 games to beat it, whatever. But I think what this team is looking for is the World Cup. I mean, whenever the World Cup starts, they're not going to think of no record, you know? You know, we get nothing out of beating Poland, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and whoever comes in the round of 16. It's the World Cup or nothing. So we're super excited. And I got asked this a while back, and it really put things into perspective. Is this the best Argentina team that I've seen since I started watching football? So it would be like maybe 2006 sort of thing. Or at least the best Argentina team from the last four World Cups. So 2010, 2014, 2018, and now this.
Good question.
Yeah, and I like to believe I like to believe that it is not only because it reminds me a lot of 2014 because you look at these two squads on paper we're not insanely great. Like there's a lot of other teams in Europe or even in Brazil where like you look at the team on paper and they have better players individually, but it's not always the better team on paper that wins. It's I feel like we play as a great unit. Our manager Scaloni. He's such a great man manager.
Yeah.
The morale is super high. Everybody's happy. I think a lot of the reason is because we finally won a title. So the whole pressure of how can this golden generation, how can Messi not win a title with Argentina, all these things, all this stuff from the media, all this criticism, that's out of the way. Now it's more of we play our football, we enjoy it, and you can see these players having fun. So whenever you play that way, and it's funny because I brought up recently that there's no right way to play football, but I think that the closest you can get is by enjoying what a team does on the pitch. If you can enjoy and have fun at the pitch, and I think Argentina does that. Argentina has been doing that for the last few games. For 20 games now, 30, 33.
Them boys are having fun.
Yeah, and it's a pleasure to watch, and I'm sure it's a pleasure for them to be playing those games. And so you can only go higher from now. Now it's the World Cup. But to answer the question, and not me going off topic, this possibly is the best Argentina team that we've seen. Maybe not on paper, but in terms of how we're playing. On the pitch, yes, I think we are better than we were in 2014 because a lot of that time was effectiveness and Messi helping us a lot. He had an incredible 2014 World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
We had very crucial moments where we pulled through. But now it's like everybody is up here. It's not just Messi carrying us and people slacking. It's like, it's okay, somebody will rescue us. Somebody will come up with a crucial moment in the match. Everybody does great. Yeah. So I think we are the best right now that we've been.
No, I got to say, actually, that question got me thinking, but I think I agree with it as well. I agree that in my lifetime, this is, at the very least, the best World Cup qualification.
Yeah.
Like, they were incredible in the qualification system. That unbeaten run that you brought up just goes to add to it. But the aspect of how they're enjoying football, and that's kind of my big thing on Argentina, isn't so much the... there's a debate about the quality of competition, which I do concede it hasn't been up to the level of some European countries. But you take that aside, just the eye test, what you see from this Argentina team when you see them play, you see Messi smiling, man.
Yeah.
You see Lautaro Martinez being an absolute killer. Scaloni leading his lines. I mean, Martinez talking shit to players, bro. You just see all these different players enjoying their roles, happy to be here. And that's a big point I want to bring out about Argentina is that oftentimes there's a lot of pressure on them, man. Yeah. And you can see it, at times you can see it in the players, man. I feel like 2018 was such a pressure-heavy tournament for them. And you had that game against Nigeria that going into, I was like, fuck, man, these players seemed a little rattled. Luckily, they pulled it off because of Messi. Yeah. But there's that pressure from the nation that wants success.
You see, so we have a saying in Argentina that I'm sure everybody uses. That like before we won the cup, it's like la camiseta pesa. The shirt weighs. Like there's that mental toll. There's pressure. Everybody's watching. Everybody's going to criticize you. We haven't won a title since '93. So any player that you put out in Argentina, it was pressure. And that we saw that a lot with a lot of the strikers that we have. We have so much attacking talent. Back in the day, none of them really pulled through, because of that. Before there was so much pressure to play for Argentina to see what they could actually succeed, that it just ended up going nowhere because of so much pressure. But then now that that's out of the way, like I said, they're enjoying their football, and it's more of a now. It's not a pressure. It doesn't give you pressure to play for Argentina. It gives you pride. It's like, yeah, I want to be called up. Yeah, I want to go and help my nation. I want to have fun with these boys and go to the World Cup.
Yeah.
I completely agree, man. And actually, that was one of the biggest things I highlighted in our little deep dive that we did was the morale, the way that Scaloni has picked this squad, but not only the players that he's picking or the positions that he's putting them in, but how this team feels as a whole, man. I saw that game against Honduras and Miami. Dude, it was a party. It was a party, bro. Bad Bunny was playing on the fucking speaker, and it was insane, man. Yeah. But that's a really good point, because going into 2018, if you're Argentine, you were kind of sweating because of that pressure. Yeah. And not only the fans, but the players were too. You could feel it. You were like, fuck, we know we're not good or as good as our opponents, so we're going to have to really play at our best just to even go far in this tournament. Mm-hmm. But now, dude, you're absolutely right. When Argentina take the pitch, there's a pride, not a pressure. Yeah. They're proud to do it, but there's also like a free-flowing happiness amongst this team I don't think that I've ever seen starting in 2010 watching football. So I've only seen, this is my fourth Argentine squad that I've seen. Out of all those other Argentine squads, this one looks the most fluid, the most happiest, and just the morale is insanely high on the squad. And you're right, you actually can see it when Argentina play a game.
Yeah. And not so we're talking about pressure, and we're comparing this to previous Argentina squads. You can go back to the game against Nigeria in 2018 whenever we needed to win, and they're recording the players as they're singing the Argentine anthem. What is Messi doing? I don't know if y'all remember, but he looked like he had a headache. He was literally going like this, trying to help. Help. Yeah. You can go back. You can pull up the clip. That boy seems stressed as heck. You can pull up the clip. You can say, I think it was against Nigeria, Nigeria in 2018, and there was just so much pressure, both in the qualifying games, because it took us to the very last game to qualify to that World Cup, and then every World Cup game, so much pressure. Messi missing penalties against a European team. Iceland. Yeah. The game against Nigeria, that was a must win. We didn't win. We didn't score all the way to like Marcos Rojo, like 86th win.
But it was a must win because of that debacle against Croatia, man.
Yeah.
But that's why we have a pressure. Like the way they lost to Croatia was like there was like another layer to it.
Yeah.
It looked bad. I think I saw videos of like Argentine fans fighting Croatians in the stands because there's just this frustration.
Yeah.
And I think that frustration is in a way has diminished a little bit with the Copa America victory. You could say the Finalissima as well. Like, I don't think that pressure, like you said, it's more pride, man.
I always draw the current state of Argentina. I always draw this back to Lionel Messi. Specifically because in every other prior World Cup that Messi has been a part of, maybe not 2010 because he was really young, but especially in 2014 and especially 2018, there was a huge reliance on Messi. Yeah. Messi has to score and we'll win the game. If Messi's having an off game, we're losing. Yeah. That's a horrible mentality to take into a game. And I really do think that's how Argentina as a team approached it. They were nervous. They're like, okay, if we don't maximize Messi, we're fucked. Yeah. Is essentially the vibe that I got when I saw Argentina play. And I think Messi really felt that pressure too. But one of my biggest takes in the deep dive that we did, man, was the fact that Messi can look around the squad and see so much talent. I think that pressure's lifted off his shoulders because now he's not the reliant player where he decides if Argentina win or lose. Now he's just a part of a greater good. Yeah. When you have a player like Lautaro Martinez, like I said, Tevez, Kun Agüero, Higuain are all legends in the game. I just think Martinez fits this team a little bit better, man. I'm going to be completely honest. And then underneath them, gone are the days of a really good like Ever Banega. But now you have like a more free-flowing mobile player in Giovanni Lo Celso. And then you have good solidity with Paredes, De Paul. And then you have Cristiano Romero at the back, Lisandro Martinez if you want to. to really shore up that defense for Argentina. So in every single position, Messi can look around and be like, okay, if I'm at 90%, we can still win this game. And I think it makes a huge difference just mentally for this Argentina squad.
I mean, we saw that super recently against, I think it was Jamaica, where Messi didn't play the first half because I think he was injured, like slightly injured, or heck, he had a fever, I think, so not even that serious. But we saw, I think we played pretty well without Messi, and that I have to thank Scaloni for that, because we're not Messi reliant because of the preparation that he's had ever since we won the Copa America. He calls the right players, he gives the right players opportunity, he gets the right players in the right place of the pitch, and it just flows so well. So I'm sure, obviously, we play better with Messi. There's no denying that. But you take out Messi out of the squad, we're still a great squad all around.
You're not just a little concerned off of the CONMEBOL opponents that y'all have played in these last 3 years?
For sure I am, and I listened to the last episode, so I know your criticism with the whole thing. Yeah,
Venezuela's ass, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Paraguay.
Look, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, CONMEBOL. I mean, there's some truth to some games being hard if you play them away, but I know it's not the highest competition.
It's not what it used to be.
No, I know, and but I gotta say, you can only beat what's in front of you. So whenever the World Cup comes and we're playing this Poland, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, which of course isn't a huge upgrade from the CONMEBOL.
It isn't.
Yeah, but whatever happens, because I think we will go ahead of the group, but whatever happens in that round of 16 will define a lot, because we will most likely face either France or Denmark. One, the World Cup champions of 2018, or two, one of the biggest, like the dark horse of the tournament, if you will. Amazing squad. So I think that will be,
not
other
Australia?
than possibly, if we go to penalties against them, it'll be insane, because you got Shithouse from Emiliano Martinez and then Shithouse from the back of the goal. I want to see that battle. It would be insane.
The Australia-Argentina matchup.
But I think that will be a super tough test, but it will define how we do in the long run in the World Cup. What will happen in the quarterfinals, semifinals, whatever.
I'm more curious, what's it going to take for you to concede that Argentina is at the level that we describe them to be at? Will it be just a round of 16 victory? Will it be a quarterfinal? Is it more about how they win? What's it gonna be?
Because you are more like the one who criticizes Argentina the most for not beating any big European opponent. Okay. So what I would like to know that answer as well.
So before I answer that, I draw this back to a similar situation in 2018 when Brazil had to play Belgium. Prior to that game, Brazil looked really, really good. And the thing is, even then, they're not as good as they are now. But back then, a lot of pundits and a lot of people too, even on that eye test in that group stage, they looked really, really good. I had Brazil going to the semifinals easily. But they played a solid Belgium team in that quarterfinal. And even though scoreline it wasn't big for Belgium, but I thought Belgium dominated Brazil. Absolutely dominated them. Neymar and the rest of Brazil got completely nullified from the free-flowing style of football that they had been playing in the group stage and prior to the World Cup. Completely nullified. And ultimately what it was down to, for me, was just that European tactic. The idea that all of these players, sure, Belgium looked good. They didn't look as good as Brazil going into the game. They didn't. But what did they do? They banded together because they all play in Champions League games. They all play with elite clubs. And I know a lot of Brazilian players do too. But for me, the difference is just the fact that they're European. And I'll get into that in a little bit.
Sure.
I'll get into that a little bit so I can describe that a little bit more in depth and a little bit better. But ultimately, that's what I'm afraid that Argentina is going to do as well. I think Argentina will wash the fucking floor with Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland. I really do think so. I really do think so, and respectfully so. I think we've talked about Saudi Arabia. We'll talk about Poland and Mexico. I think they're solid teams. This Argentine squad, though, is
having a field day.
They're absolutely incredible. But when Argentina face a really good European side, and we'll get that in the round of 16, as you two just perfectly prefaced, that's when I'll know. And if it's close, 0-0, I'm not going to go by scoreline. I'm going to go by what I see on the pitch. If they get nullified, if they just cannot find space, if they're always on the back foot, just kind of being reactive, the way that Brazil were against Belgium, then I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm right. This Argentine squad just cannot live up to the pressure of playing a big European squad on the biggest stage. And we can talk about the Finalissima when they dominated Italy, because they did. But for me, I don't know. There's something weird about that game where just Italy just straight up didn't show up. And I know we can praise Argentina for nullifying Italy on the reverse, where the South American side completely dominated the European side. But I just think the World Cup's going to be different, because it has been. The World Cup has been different in any other tournament. No matter how big Euros are, Copa Americas are, they're big tournaments. You can't compare them to a World Cup knockout round. And so for me, that's why I say Argentina, they have to play a big European side, and we'll get that on the round of 16.
That's what's exciting, though. We most surely will, because of the group right next to them. So just to establish, where do you stand on the Argentina team? Do you think they're going to win?
Oof, that's the golden
Let's
question.
be honest here.
That's the whole thing. I'm kind of like I want to take everything day by day. Like the round of 16, I'm not worried about the group stage. I think
that's
that
a little disrespectful to me.
I'm not coming back to the podcast now.
Welcome you to the pod. Go ahead.
I think the round of 16 will be our huge test. And like you brought up a lot of good points. I think we don't know. We can only guess how we will play against a big European side. Once we go from there, I will put my expectations. But for now, like I'm not thinking about anything else other than going all the way. Just because I
love that.
I'm just not realistic at all. We could have. I mean, heck, in 2018, I know we had a shit squad. I know we barely made the World Cup. I know that we were almost not going to be out of the group stage. And in my head, I was like, oh, we're going against France. Okay, maybe we can beat them.
It's Argentina,
and maybe we can go all the way. Yeah,
there's always that chance.
I'll never be a realistic fan. I'm a hopeless fan. But so we could have the worst team, and I'll tell you, yeah, we can go all the way. But seeing how the facts are, the unbeaten run, the no pressure, we are prepared. In terms of the people that we're calling up, the players that we're calling up, I think we can go all the way. But we'll see what happens in round of 16. I'm low-key more stressed about round of 16 because we play France, and that's the team that knocked us out last time, than I am about a potential semifinal against Brazil. I don't fear Brazil because I feel like mentally we can beat them, because we beat them before, just recently. And yeah, it was 2 years ago for the Copa America, but these players, that's what's going to be on their mind. Yeah, Brazil will want revenge. Yeah, it's a whole new stage. It's the World Cup. It's semifinals. Yeah, it's insanely. It is. It's a whole other thing. But
there was 5 fans at the Copa America.
And I think they were just, but really I think mentally we'll be ahead of Brazil. Like, we can beat them. I don't fear Brazil. I think I fear a potential France a little bit more, and whoever we might encounter in a potential final.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just a little bit it's less predictable, man. Like even if Brazil does show up, I do think Argentina can go toe to toe with them. You made a point there about the stage, and that's my biggest thing, because as I said in the earlier deep dives, I have selected Brazil as my champion for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. And I've thought about that potential matchup between Brazil and Argentina. And I just think that stage is completely different. We've been talking about it. It's a different thing when you're in the knockout stages of the World Cup. It's uncomparable. You can't practice for it. You can't do anything in preparation. It's just about your mentality going in. But that's where your point comes in of like, I don't like hearing that you're not fearing Brazil. This makes me feel weird, bro. Yeah. It makes me feel a little concerned. Like, fuck. Both teams, I think, are going to go in with that mentality. So it's going to make for an incredible game if it does come to that. We've talked about the possibility of that matchup happening and how crazy it would be. But all in all, I do think Brazil comes out on top with just a slight mental edge and quality overall.
They start like Alexandre, Danilo, whoever that's the weaker spot. If we can exploit the heck out of that with either Di Maria, Nicolas Gonzalez, Messi, whoever's on the wing, that potential semifinal. Dude, I cannot wait. I almost want it to happen, because
that's the thing.
At this point, I'm more of like, can we win it? Yeah, but I don't want to win it by beating Saudi Arabia and England. I want to give me France, because they took us out last time. And this is not me being cocky. I just don't want to win a World Cup if, obviously, this is me speaking a little bit out of my ass, but I don't want to win a World Cup if we're beating Saudi Arabia and England, and I don't know who else in the final. But yeah, give me France. because they took us out. Give me Brazil because they're our rivals, you know?
That'd be insane. Then Portugal in the final.
Just for that Messi.
Like, good Lord, man. That'd be the most magical World Cup run of all time.
It would.
Something I want to bring back over to you is we both are saying about Argentina, the kind of like the eye test, like what we see on the field.
Oh, yeah.
My biggest problem with European teams is that even though they do face tougher competition in the Nations League, they play at better leagues and whatnot, there's no team in Europe right now that really sticks out to me in the way that these two unbeaten South American teams have so far. What team might not be getting the best results, but you think might be the team that could pop up and potentially win the World Cup?
I think a lot of the European teams, I'm going to be completely honest. I think like if you just list out the top 5 European teams, I think they can all beat Brazil or Argentina. I really do think so. And for me, it comes down to 2 things. One, the opponents that they face. As you just said, yes, they do face tougher opponents. That's tough. I mean, if you're Switzerland, you're playing like Serbia, Portugal, Spain, and you just do that casually in September and October. That's tough to do. But not only that, I think it's culture too. When you're European, it's so different to wear the jersey than it is if you're Brazilian or Argentinian. I really do think so. So when you do play these, what basically are friendlies in the UEFA Nations League, it's so different than when you play a friendly for Argentina or Brazil. I really do think it is. And I think that actually plays a factor on what you see every other month when you see the international teams come together. These European teams are going to be watching out because they're like, look, I play for Madrid. I got to watch out. Whereas if you're Uruguayan, if you're Valverde, you're like, I don't give a fuck. I play for Uruguay. I have to show up. It's so different in my opinion. And for me, that's the reason why we're not seeing a European team play as fluid or as offensive as Argentina or Brazil. I think that's ultimately the reason. And the reason why I still have a European team ultimately winning it is because it's the World Cup. That's when European
20 years, man. 20 years of straight European.
Right. And that's when European players obviously show up because it's every European player's dream to lift the World Cup. Harry Kane, sure he plays for Tottenham, goal scoring record, right, in the Premier League. But the biggest trophy he wants to lift is the World Cup. So come World Cup, Kane's going to be on fire. He's going to come up.
Can you imagine if he went his whole career without winning any trophy but the World Cup? Like, he has one trophy in his cabinet. It's the World Cup.
But it's the World Cup. Fuck, maybe I'd take that deal. If I had to deal with a devil, I'd be like, fuck it.
You want to be a footballer 20 years, you win nothing. 20 years you get disappointed by your team, win nothing.
Years.
But you win the World Cup. Yeah,
God damn, dude.
I'd sign on that.
Yeah, I'd sign. I would. No, I'd do anything for that. I think. I do think so.
But then you have the other teams like France. Like, can you imagine Mbappe got his 2nd World Cup trophy?
Oh my God.
Before 25.
If there is a team that can repeat, even though they do have a lot of injuries, I think it actually could be this French team. Solely just because they have so much talent in every single position, and really nothing's diminished. I mean, Spain in 2014, they lost a lot of their veterans, so it was always going to be a little bit weird. You could say the same thing about Germany. In 2014, a lot of the players were just older, and it was still the same old guard that Jogi Löw had chosen in 2018. So it took Jogi Löw leaving Germany and hiring a new coach in Hansi Flick and bringing in these new players. Leroy Sané got omitted in 2018. That was weird. So there's this new inclusion of players I think is really helping Germany. So, but for 2022, France, it's pretty much the same players, and they're all still pretty much in form. Again, for me, the only thing I think that will hold France back is going to be their injuries. For example, Paul Pogba might not actually play. It might not actually play for France, and I think that is going to be a big miss. But you got Tchouaméni this year. And I think Tchouaméni can come in and play really well.
That's the insane thing. In 2018, they could have fielded their B team, their C team, and still compete for it. And now it's the same case because a lot of their players were on the young side. Now they're a lot better than they were in 2018. Growing older, more skillful. You can put their B team and still be a contender for the World Cup.
It's insane, man. And actually,
like they lost a clinical player in Matuidi who was huge for the World Cup. And no one's talking about like his absence because, like you said, you can just easily replace
put in
him.
Camavinga and Tchouaméni, and you have the same player just
for the next
younger.
10 years.
Yeah. And ultimately, that's kind of what I'm getting at here. So I'm going to go through a timeline very quickly, but on World Cups, because that's how I view time. So 2010, when I watched the 2010 World Cup and then obviously watching 2014, the way I saw the 2010 World Cup was the end of an era. It was the end of 2000s football. 2014 was the closest that football had come between a European teams and the rest of the world. We saw Costa Rica go do something absolutely insane. Chile, Colombia, Brazil, Argentina all popped the fuck off in 2014. And there were some good African teams too in 2014 as well. So Algeria nearly beating Germany and taking it into extra time, man. So it's absolutely insane. There were so many.
Netherlands.
Oh, bro. Yeah, absolutely.
You don't got to go into that.
Absolutely. I mean, Costa Rica were a penalty shootout away from going to the semifinal. And for me, what it was is just the European game didn't progress between 2010 and 2014, but the rest of the world did. But what got me going into 2018, it was the beginning of the elite European class. That's how I view this. And for me in 2018, we still saw some good talents outside of Europe, but not really. Not really. It was mainly just the European teams dominating for the most part. And the thing is, I think they've only risen since then. I think every single European team that featured in 2018, or nearly everyone, has actually improved since 2018 going into this 2022 World Cup. So I think on a timeline basis, the way that I view the world of football is that we are still in the era of a peak European football class. And for me, that goes far enough to say that only a European team will win this World Cup. I mean, dude, Croatia, they've added Meyer from Lille. They still have probably the best midfielder in the world, Luka Modric. You still have Brozovic. You still have Ivan Perisic. You add in a player like Orsic, who's playing really well at Dinamo Zagreb. Guardiol, who's playing for Red Bull Leipzig right now. They've only actually improved their squad, and they went to the fucking final in 2018. It's crazy, man. We just talked about how good France's depth is, but you could say the same thing about Portugal. Portugal were solid in 2018. Their squad is insane this year. Their squad is fucking insane this year. You got Bernardo Silva, Ronaldo, Leao going off with Milan. You got Ruben Neves, Moutinho if you need him off the bench.
Stud.
Stud, bro. You have so much quality. Even fucking England, who went to the semifinals last year, they have basically the same team, so they're gonna do really well. The difference is they have experience now. They did really well in 2018. They're gonna take the same thing and just do it, in my opinion, better here in 2022. So for that reason, I only have a European team winning, because in our timeline, it's Europe, baby. It's Europe.
It's Europe.
And I cannot deny that. And I know. And one other counterpoint you could make is, well, all Brazilians, all Argentines play in Europe. Absolutely. But what's the World Cup if you don't bring in where you're from, right? You can't erase 17 years of footballing culture where you grew up. And I think that's why we love the World Cup so much, because, yes, even though majority of players play in Europe, every team has their own style. And right now, I think the European style is king.
If Argentina or Brazil wins, what happens?
Because this is the mistake you might be doing. You just brought up a lot of great players in a lot of great countries, but you might be just making the mistake of looking at them on paper. Because you see a lot of big European nations disappointed in this last Euros. France, Spain could have possibly put up a better performance against England, and in the Nations League even. You're not seeing the best displays of football by European nations.
I completely agree, but I still go back to that first point of, I just think it comes down to culture when they play these tournaments. Like, I just don't think the Euros means as much as the Copa America means to a lot of these top South American sides. So I don't think we ever really see the best European sides until the World Cup, because that's what they really care about other than club football. I think Europeans ultimately value club football more than international football. The only exception is the World Cup. So I think that's why it's kind of just hard to compare. It's hard for me. It's hard to compare Nations League and friendlies versus when Argentina play a friendly or when they play a Copa America. It just means more. Kind of like you said at the beginning, the jersey weighs for Argentina, bro. I don't think it weighs that much for Serbia. I really don't think it does. But they're a fucking good squad.
Yeah.
And so I think that can go a long way.
Yeah. Or even like, I remember, wasn't it Italy that went on that crazy unbeaten run?
Yep.
I feel like that didn't have the same weight as Argentina's. That's a good point. Culturally, I do see your point they're making, but the thing is, we're only thinking post 2002 when a South American team won it. That's how you've seen it. But South America has shown that culturally they are capable of winning a World Cup, especially with what happened before the 2000s, man. So it's just a matter of proving it in the modern era, man.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
I think so.
You need proof that it can happen in the modern game, and
Yeah.
then maybe you can start thinking differently. But until then, you're gonna be on this hill, man. You're gonna die on this hill.
I think so, actually. That's actually a really good analysis of how I think, because I haven't seen it. And when I look at club football, when I look at world football, and I see Argentina play in their qualifications, I see European play in their qualifications, it is hard for me to think that even a talented Brazilian or Argentine side can actually lift the World Cup just because I haven't seen it. I think that definitely plays a factor. Absolutely.
No. So I mentioned, if Brazil or Argentina or any South American team wins it, how does that shift your mentality going into future World Cups?
I'm going to be completely honest, haven't even thought about it because I'm that certain that they won't lift it. I haven't even thought about it.
If it does happen, I'm coming back on the pod.
Come back.
We're gonna
I'm giving
obviously
you
back.
an Argentina jersey that you're going to have to wear.
You're gonna have to shave your head.
And I deserve, yeah, that's for sure. Put that in there, sure. But now I deserve a public apology. Oh, him too. Yeah,
I will apologize publicly.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be a hell of a reel right there.
Yeah, I will go to Argentina. I will kiss the ground. Yeah. I will do whatever it takes. I will apologize.
Okay.
I promise.
Okay. No, I love that. It's the stakes.
It's a respect for the game.
No,
It's a respect for the game.
absolutely.
At the end of the day, I love this game, but just the way that I see it, it's hard for me to think otherwise.
No, man, the stakes going into this World Cup got me so excited,
Oh,
man.
bro.
We're gonna get all these answers within like 2 months, man.
Because right now we
We'll
can only
know.
guess. We can only guess like whether or not we can go against a European side.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
we have no. I think out of the 33 games unbeaten, we played maybe 2 or 3 games against a European side. Just friendlies, you know. Italy, Germany, another friendly, whatever.
Yeah.
So we can only guess. We'll see.
Man.
That's what's kind of fucked though about the World Cup, is because we can say all of this and we both could just be completely wrong. Argentina crashed out in the round of 16, and then like France, Germany, Spain don't really dazzle that much, and then like a solid Belgium team end up going far in the tournament. You know?
Yeah.
Like it just could. That's how the World Cup is sometimes.
It's 7 games. 7 games.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it, though.
That fucks with me. Yeah, literally just 7 games, 4 knockout games. It's all that it takes. And I hate how it basically just comes down to one game, like one round of 16 game.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Like we were talking about Portugal the other day losing against Uruguay, and we're just like, that's how Portugal went out?
Yeah.
Like that's it? Like they just lost
Yeah.
to Uruguay, and their dreams, Ronaldo's chance to get a World Cup ended within 90 minutes because they just couldn't take it to an Uruguay.
4 years of work.
4 years of work, bro. Like
Done.
90 minutes.
90 minutes. Yeah.
Fucks me up, man. Fucks me up.
This is what I mean. The record that Argentina have doesn't mean shit. How we've been playing doesn't mean anything. And who we put in the pitch, who we call up, it doesn't mean anything. Whatever we do in those 90 minutes is what matters. All these years of preparation matter for what we're going to do in 90 minutes. But at the end of the day, if you can't beat Denmark, for example, it all goes to waste. 4 years for nothing in 90 minutes. It's insane. It's insane.
I really do love that approach though, because I haven't thought about that for Argentina. Like all they care about is that next game, because that's all that matters. So Scaloni right now is just looking at Saudi tapes. He's just trying to figure out how can we fuck this team up. Yeah. But I like that because that's all that really does matter. And I haven't really thought about that because I have taken into account the record, and it's kind of getting to me just because it's like you know, it does bother me because again I just cannot favor how poor CONMEBOL has been for Argentina. And so, but you're right. At the end of the day, none of that matters.
Yeah, it's similar to like Liverpool's potentially 4 trophy winning season. Like when people were talking about it, people were saying it, and it's almost like it kind of got to him at one point, failing in two potential finals. I wonder if Scaloni, like, if he's like burning newspapers that say Argentina's on 35 game unbeaten streak. Like I wonder,
he doesn't want to think
I wonder
about
if he's like fucking telling his team to like fuck the unbeaten streak. It's fine if you lose in the group stage. Let's just make it out. Like I wonder what his mentality is for these guys.
Yeah, I wonder a lot, and a lot of people I actually ask me, do I think that this record that we have will affect us positively or negatively? Like, will it be in our heads? Will we shatter once the time comes? I have no idea. I don't think we will care much about the record, but I mean, I can only guess. I'm not out there in the locker room, you know?
Yeah, for real.
One thing I will say is the timeline for Argentina is absolutely incredible because I don't think this could work out any better from like a Messi point of view, dude. If you want this type of talent around one player, it's a wise 35-year-old or however old he is, Messi. Like, I think a 25-year-old Messi probably wouldn't work as well with this exact same squad. I actually think it's better that he's older, that he's experienced so much of his career.
Experience and leadership brings you so far in the World Cup.
Yes.
That's why it's so important that we have Messi, Di Maria, and Otamendi on the pitch.
Yeah,
it's super
That's a
important.
really good point.
Yeah.
Even just stylistically, like, what if we had Haaland instead of Messi? I don't think he brings up the level of Argentina the way Messi does. But because stylistically, throw in the experience. God, that is incredible, man.
It's incredible. The timeline is set up for
Messi
Argentina
can't blow it, man.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It is set up for Argentina to have a very, very good tournament. I just think it's a little unlucky that Europe is going through this renaissance of football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the stars aligned, but
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
But the star, what's crazy? What is crazy about this is we say all this about Argentina. I do agree with a lot of what you're saying, but there are so many other teams that are thinking the exact same fucking thing.
Yep.
The exact same thing, and you can translate that to every single European team that is like, we've had a really good 3 years. We can do something.
Serbians
in this World
probably
Cup.
think this is their best chance to win the cup.
That's what I'm saying. This is probably Serbia's best 11 that they've ever had, and they're hyped. They want to go out on this World Cup and just perform for the people because they know that they're a part of something special. You can say the exact same thing about Argentina, and that's what's scary is that there's so many other teams with the exact same thoughts.
32 nations, each of them going through their own little situations.
Yes.
I'm boycotting the World Cup, bro. I'm not doing this shit, man.
It's too emotional,
It's too
man.
much.
It's too emotional.
It's too much, and the feeling's too crazy. Messi, bro. Messi, man. 35 years of age, as you mentioned, and we were just talking about it. He fits this team perfectly. Yeah. What do y'all think is the impact of, or more specifically, Agustin, what do you think
I'm curious.
is the impact of Lionel Messi actually lifting up the FIFA World Cup and completing his already ridiculous trophy cabinet? What does that mean for potentially, if not already, the greatest of all time?
It's the cherry on the pie. It's the last thing he needs. I don't think it settles the goal debate. I think the goal debate is settled in a much completely different way, but it would just be the best way to close this. And even our losses in every Copa America, 2015, 2016, our loss in the 2014 World Cup final makes it all better if we win this one. That's what the 2019, the 2021 Copa America felt so good, because after you go through so many losses. I mean, I'm 23 and I've only seen Argentina win one title. My dad hasn't seen us, in 1993 was the last time that we won a Copa America. Now we won this one. Dude. So it's going to make the win feel so much better if we win.
When I think about it though, like Argentina hasn't won much in the last 20 years, bro. And that's crazy considering like the category of team that they are. But this would make up for all those years, man.
Yeah,
this would make up for
it's
a team.
Just every year was like inches away. We can talk about the Higuain misses and just every circumstance in the penalty kicks. We've been through so much. If there's one player in this earth, and I know the football doesn't owe any player anything. Okay, you have to earn the victories. You have to earn that trophy. Football doesn't owe anybody anything. But if there's one player out there who deserves to win this World Cup, it's Messi, because of everything that we've been through, all the losses, the heartbreaks, retiring from Argentina in a very shitty situation after he lost that final, coming back and geez, it's been insane. After everything he's done, he deserves it.
This kind of goes back to a little bit of what I was saying earlier, is how it is perfect that Messi, at his age now, has this team around him, because let's say Messi did win in 2014. It'd been so long since he had won it, and he would just end his career kind of like on a down note. Not on a down note, but it would have been a quiet finish to an illustrious career. But the fact that we know that this is Messi's last World Cup, at least playing at an elite level still, I think that's magic. Yeah, it is absolute magic, knowing that not only we're talking about it, but Messi himself knows that he still has an incredible chance to close out on what would be an incredible career. And I love that it's at the end of it, because everybody have their eyes on Messi.
It's more impactful. If he went to have won the 2014 and then have like you said, a little quieter.
Exactly.
This is poetry. It's last World Cup. It's his fifth World Cup, I believe. The last World Cup, it would be the best ending to a story in football.
Exactly. And that's why it's going to be either one of two things. It'll either be a reminder of the beauty of sports and what this sport can give you as a fan, to give you that ultimate closeout of Messi, or a reminder of the brutality and the cruelty of the sport if Messi ends up going his entire career never winning the World Cup, man.
Dude, I got something in my chest right there.
I'm sorry.
And that's why I love the sport, because at the end of the day, let's just say Messi doesn't win it, it would actually be fair. Yep. Whoever does win it this year come December will have earned it. Absolutely. If it's not Messi, we will say at the end of that final, we'll be like, this team was fucking good. And they will have earned it, and we'll completely give them their flowers.
Yeah.
And in a way, I can't lose, because if a European team wins, I will have vilified everything that I've said. Yeah. If Argentina win, I would want nothing more than to have that picture in my mind of Lionel Messi lifting that World Cup trophy. I will cry when it happens, because I've seen Messi's career play out in its entirety. And for, again, as you said, poetry, for the fact that it's happening at the end of his career, it'd be amazing.
Yeah, I think that's something that truly transcends like the channel, because I'm sure people are going to be like, hey, Argentina won, tell Soltero, fuck you and all this shit. But you're going to be happy.
I won't care.
You're going to be ecstatic.
I'll be so happy.
Thank God I was wrong, man. Like,
thank God.
Messi won. That's the only situation. But you mentioned something there that got me interested, like the potential contrast we could see between who lifts that trophy up. It could be someone with a legacy like Messi, who obviously deserves it. Right. Or, bro, it could be fucking Dusan Tadic lifting that shit.
Yeah, man.
That's the craziness of this tournament, man. God. That it can just be literally anybody, man. And whoever does it will be deserving.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, football doesn't owe anybody anything. Yeah. It's not like in any other sports, the GOAT will have every trophy in the collection, you know? You can have the GOAT of football not win a World Cup, and he'll still be the GOAT. But
exactly,
that's nuts,
it would
man.
be insane.
Yeah, or even just the assurance going into it that two of Ronaldo, Neymar, or Messi won't win it. That's depressing, bro.
Yeah,
that is depressing.
Right?
They won't win it, man.
Yeah, some of the best footballers on the planet just won't lift it. It's just that simple. It's depressing, but that's why I love the sport, man, because literally anything is possible. And no matter what we say here, I'm just so excited to see what happens, man, in this tournament, man, because it's so unpredictable. It really is. Like, even in the group stage, like, let's say Saudi Arabia do take it to Argentina, it'll just be a pleasure to watch. Yeah. Even if they lose like 1-0, it'll just be absolute entertainment knowing that Saudi Arabia maybe play their best game of their careers. Just seeing that for a fleeting moment, that's why I love this tournament, man. Because even if they don't even get far, I fucking love it.
I don't know if I would love that, but I get what you mean.
Man. Is this the most hyped y'all would say you've been going into a tournament?
I was just gonna ask.
Whoa!
You about to ask?
You guys go first, because I mean my answer is obvious, but you guys go first.
I remember being really excited for 2014, man. Brazil hosting it.
Yeah.
Such a colorful tournament is how I remember it. I was really excited for that one. Mexico had a really good team going into it too, given that we had a crazy qualification cycle, but finally getting to the tournament, I knew that team could take it to any team. I was excited for that one, but this is the most neutral I've gone into a World Cup, where I'm truly appreciative of all the teams, knowledgeable because of this channel and to the community that we built. I now have to like be involved with every single team. Yeah. So I'm gonna get so much fulfillment. And it's funny that it happens the year that Mexico's trash. I'm gonna find so much fulfillment in other places outside of Mexico now. And that actually does excite me, because dude, like when Tunisia plays France, I'm gonna be so into that game, man. Yeah. Just so into it. Yeah. Or just like Uruguay against South Korea, for example. Like just every matchup now has given me a reason to be fully invested in it. And so I guess just as a co-host of this show, I am super hyped for it. And yes, it is the most hype I've been for a tournament.
Yeah, I think it is the most hype I've been for a tournament too, but for a slightly different reason maybe. So I was so hyped for 2014, man. In that build-up, I watched every single game of a non-European side because I saw so much talent across the globe, man. Japan was playing good football, Colombia, Chile, US and Mexico had pretty decent tournaments. So many non-European sides had such good tournaments, and I was so excited to see that happen. So the build-up to that tournament, I was in heaven at that point. In 2018, I always take a neutral approach, as you were talking about, but I was less excited because I was just like, fuck, like I don't know. Costa Rica was playing pretty bad. Mexico I thought was a little weird, but they had a good group stage. Yeah. The US weren't even there, so it was just a completely different experience for me in 2018. But going into 2022, man, the reason why I'm so hyped for this tournament is because I think there's an opportunity here for everybody to see possibly the most talent we've ever seen in a World Cup.
Man.
I think every single game, there's going to be at least one player that's just a cut above the rest. And I don't think we've been able to say that in any other World Cup. I mean, even like Cameroon, bro, like no disrespect, they were horrible in 2014, but now they got Carl Toko Ekambi, man, leading that front line. They got Frank Zambo and Geese. Like, there's so much talent in every single team. For me, this is the most talented World Cup we've seen across all 32 nations, and that's why I'm so fucking hyped for this one.
I don't take like a neutral approach. I definitely look at how Argentina are doing. I can't. Yeah, I can't.
Don't.
It depends on how Argentina is going and approaching the World Cup. Like in 2018, I was just like, okay, let's get this shit over with. If we, if we go far, I mean, whenever the game starts, I'm gonna root for y'all. And again, like I'm not realistic at all. Once the game starts, I'm like, yeah, we can win this. Come on, let's do this. We can make it to the final, or like see how far we can go. That's what I do every World Cup. But this one I have to be hyped because of all the factors that we've talked about, the unbeaten run, the expectations, Messi's last World Cup. I think I'm definitely more hyped about this one, especially because it's now like you guys, like you cover Give and Go. With my account, this is the first World Cup that my account would cover. So that's actually, because I started 3 years ago, so I didn't quite cover the 2018 one. So super excited to see everybody's perspective, all the followers of their opinions. It's gonna be super exciting.
You're gonna get, man.
I know. All over the world. God. Yeah. No, but in terms of like my own personal experience with Argentina, I'm super hyped, and I can't wait for it to start. 38 days left now.
30s? We're in the 30s now, bro?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
I'm counting on the hours.
Just on the 50s, man.
I know. Yeah.
Shit. We gotta get these deep dives out, bro. Shit.
I'm tired, man. I just want to know, do you watch the U.S.? Do you cheer for them? You live here. I watch them because, I am a citizen. So I like, no matter what, I actually feel compelled to always know how they're doing. Do you have the same thing, or is it just because you're so deep in Argentina, you're just like, fuck them?
No, I'm like super deep in Argentina. Even when I was in Spain, like, all of my friends were Spanish, and they all rooted for Spain, and I hated them for that reason. There's just that much banter between me and friends, and I have a friend.
Spanish people.
I have a friend who is a huge fan of he's from the U.S., and he's huge on U.S. football, and he overhypes them, and it's just that banter between us. And I'm like, dude, the U.S. suck. I like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, yes. I can
little
never.
brother.
Yeah, kind of. Exactly. Yeah. But no, I don't really. I stay tuned to them, but I don't root for them or anything. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was curious about. Okay, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
I just want to ask you, Agustin, man, What's your history in the sport, man? What got you into this? Were you born into the culture? Did you play it as a kid and like, I like this sport? Like, what's your story on soccer, man, on football?
I think football is in the air in Argentina. But whenever I was 3 years old, my family and I moved to Spain, and that's another country where it's pretty big on football. Right? Yeah.
Wow.
So both countries, my dad loved football. He played it. He watched it. Used to watch Boca Juniors. He was a fan. Then we moved to Spain. So, it never stopped. I think my first memory was 2006, the 2006 World Cup final. I was 7. And that I was 6 or 7. That might have been my first football memory. But I played it when I was a kid. I watched it when I was a kid with my dad. I guess it's been ever since. I've never like gone elsewhere to any other sport. Football is like basically my life since I was very, very young. Yeah.
So River or Boca?
Neither, actually.
Oh,
but
shit.
Most of my family, just because I moved out of Argentina when I was 3, so we never really watched, especially back then, we never really watched Argentinian football. Most of my family will go for Boca, and just a few are River Plate fans, but that's actually a question that I get asked quite a lot.
Really?
Like, I don't really have...
You don't really care. No preference.
Whenever there's a big game coming up, like in the Libertadores, for example, like the final or things like that, I'll watch, but as a neutral,
Okay, so then Madrid or Barcelona? Atleti?
You're an Atleti fan, right?
Yeah.
You should be in a museum. You're super rare.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
Have you ever found any Atleti fan?
I commonly and famously say I'm the only Atleti fan within 1,000-mile radius.
That could be a thing.
I think it's like, there's a good chance it's true.
Yeah.
There's a good chance it's true.
Yeah.
Obviously, whenever Messi was there, more on the Barca side, but now I just watch it again as a neutral.
Nice.
Most of my family are Madrid fans, and there is that rivalry, not like really Real Madrid versus you, because I'm a Juve fan, not really rivalry between us two, just more of like anytime one of our team loses, we're cunts to one another. Like, so I'm always kind of supporting
What a
Barca, but
household,
not
man.
for like legitimate reasons. I'm just always rooting for Barca so I can make fun of my family.
Yeah, it gets political at
because
that
it's
point.
literally my parents and my little brother, and Juve loses a lot more than Real Madrid do. So I go through a lot more than they do, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. So I'll take what I can get, though. The few times that they lose, I'll take it.
Absolutely, man.
So you mentioned it there. Your team is actually Juve, isn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I was hoping we wouldn't talk about that.
Nah, but you're
Wait. I actually want to go into this because
All right.
I love team origin supporting history. So why Juve,
Oh, you're gonna be
man?
so
That's
disappointed.
true. No, I want to know.
No, but
even if it's
I know,
random. Even if it's
it's
random.
not even random. It's just boring.
Okay.
Whenever we moved to Spain, my dad chose Real Madrid. Just I guess he made a bunch of friends, and because we lived in Madrid, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of
It's easier,
his friends got him into Madrid, and he tried to get us into being Madrid fans. So my little brother, is still younger than me, he's a Madrid fan. I was technically a Madrid fan, but like as a kid, because my dad made me so.
Yeah.
Not because I chose it or anything. It's
Yeah,
just
you were
like, know,
brainwashed into it
and
at the
then- yeah, exactly. So, and then as I grew, like I just started watching Serie A a lot more. Like I was just more attracted to the pace of the league and the tactical side of it more than I was La Liga.
Okay.
That was the league that I watched the most. And I guess just Juventus just drew me in. I remember the acquisition of Dybala. I watch a lot of like any young Argentine players, and so I watched Juventus a lot at the time. So I never really made the decision of like, hey, I watch Juventus a lot. I guess I'm a fan, because that's not something you like decide overnight. It's just
Right.
I caught myself watching a lot more Serie A. I left La Liga behind. I realized that I wasn't into the Real Madrid fanatism like I was with like my dad and my brother were.
Understood.
Yeah. So I was like, wait, why do I support Madrid? I don't. This is just because my dad made me so. So then,
You burned the Madrid jersey and then you bought a Juve.
I still have them, but I just started watching Serie A. I watched Juventus, and I guess I was drawn by that success.
It happened naturally. It's what
Yeah,
it
it happened
sounds
naturally.
like.
Yeah. And now I'm stuck. Like I've said a couple of times
You're
already.
fine, bro.
Yeah.
You're
We're
fine.
going to Europa League this season, and this is something I've predicted already. Like in the prediction video, we're going to Europa League this season, and it only goes lower from
Dude,
there.
that loss against Haifa, man. What do you think about that?
Greatest
We can
victory
talk
in
about
Haifa
that
history.
one. We can talk about the one from Monza the other day. Their
yeah.
first Serie A win, I believe it was. We can be here we can make a 10-hour episode talking about Juventus
Then
disappointment.
then at the very least, Allegri in or out. What's your thoughts on this, man?
100% out.
You're done.
I don't see how you can actually I'm yet to see somebody give me a good argument about why in. And it's super weird because just like a couple days ago there was a panel there was in Italy. It was in the Juventus training ground.
Okay.
They said like Allegri, don't leave. This is all Agnelli's fault or the ownership or whatever. I was like, wait, who is supporting? Who is supporting Allegri? Like I'm sure he hired someone to write that and leave it like in the Juventus door.
So the players can like see it and be like, oh, okay, maybe we should trust the coach.
Yeah. Like I'm yet to hear a proper argument about why it's not him. It's not like it's somebody else's problem that we're this deep down,
Yeah. No, that's
crazy.
that's actually pretty fair, man. It kind of in a way, I don't think it's as bad, at least not yet. It does kind of remind me of the Simeone situation. Because for me, the reason why I think that Allegri's still there, and I think the reason why the executives are having a hard time of maybe just immediately firing him is just because how long he's been there and how successful he was, right? He just has that history with Juve, especially after Conte left. I feel like Allegri just continued on what Conte had built, and I think Juve really appreciated that.
It's those two things. It's a one reputation, and two, it's also kind of the money thing. Because if you sack him, like I think it's reported that if we sack Allegri, it's 35 million that we have to pay him. As liquidation.
What?
Yeah.
So he's still like deep in his contract.
Yeah, he's still on a 3-year contract, something like that.
my
And then you add that to the fact that like he's got a good reputation with the club. Because it's not like the Premier League. The Premier League, you could have a lot of great managers that have a great reputation, like they made the club super successful. And the second they're having like a bad stint of games, we saw it with Tuchel.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, they're gone. Your reputation doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you did in the past. In Italy, in Juve at least, is different. With Allegri.
Yeah, completely
35
agree.
million, bro.
Yeah,
you can
something
get a
like that.
wonder kid for that price, man. You can get a good guy for that price, man. Let's go to Allegri instead. I guess that just has to add to the frustration of this whole situation.
Yeah, but I wonder how much money we're gonna lose if we don't make the Champions League knockout stages this season, and 2, we don't qualify to the next one, to the next year, because that's what it looks like might happen, because we're 9th, I think. 9th, 8th, something like that, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's not looking good. Were you, I'm just curious, were you a little sad when Dybala left? Or were you like, his time has come?
You ask me today, I'll say yes. You ask me tomorrow, I'll say no.
Okay.
It's
just emotional, man. I get it.
Yeah, I'm on record saying that I wanted Dybala out in like a certain video that I made a long time, and then the next day I'll be like, no, I want him. Like I have trust in him.
I didn't mean it.
No, I go back and forth on that, and I'm just happy to see him do well in Roma. Especially with the World Cup.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. He's doing great.
Even though now he just got injured, but yeah, especially with the World Cup coming, I need to root for my boy.
Yeah, you have to.
It's a little
you
bit
absolutely
sad.
have to.
I mean, since we're talking about football origins, can you explain a little bit how you became an Atletico Madrid fan?
Shit.
I want to be able to take this time to actually acknowledge some things. Now that we have a bigger fan base, it'd be nice to explain, like, how did you become an Atletico Madrid fan?
Honestly, I'm trying to remember. Let's see.
So like a lifelong thing?
You were poisoned.
My upbringing in football was very from like an observer point of view. I didn't grow up in the sport like you two did. My parents didn't watch a lick of soccer. I played it as a kid, but I didn't really understand it. I just kind of played kickball on the pitch. Then once I got a little smarter, I was like, okay, this is a pretty cool sport. But my go-to sport, especially growing up, was basketball. Big Kobe fan, R.I.P. Big LA Laker fan, and also a Dallas Maverick fan since that's where I was here. I got to see Dirk Nowitzki lift the fucking trophy at one point for Dallas. But then I watched the 2010 World Cup, and that completely changed the course of the rest of my life. Yeah. That tournament showed me how beautiful the sport was, and then from that point on, man, I just dove really, really deep into the sport. I got like 20 tabs of Wikipedia pages open on my computer. I was just looking at every sort of league that there was, and I was just shocked that there were so many talented footballers all across the globe, and that really intrigued me. I remember it was like Chile against Spain in the 2010. I was like, how is a team like Chile, and this was me at the time not knowing soccer, right? And I asked myself, I was like, how is a team like Chile being able to compete, and not only compete, but really take Spain, a country that has so much footballing talent, how are they able to take them to the death, essentially? I was shocked by that. Like, a team from the one corner of the world playing against a team from another corner. I was like, wow, the playing field was so level. And I was completely impressed by that, and I absolutely loved that. And then from that point on, like I said, I just did my research, and then I started actually watching soccer after that tournament. So obviously the big ones, I was like, okay, what are the best leagues out there? So Premier League, Serie A, La Liga, I think were the big three that really came up. Actually, yeah, honestly, kind of. Just because I was like, okay, well, I'm right here. Like, I'm living in Texas. Like, I got to watch a little bit of Mexican soccer. My parents are Mexican. And so my first favorite team was actually Manchester City. Solely because of Carlos Tevez.
Okay.
Tevez, oh man, I loved this fucking guy. One of the players, especially at the time in the Premier League, when it was, I think from like 2010 to like 2015, the Prem was not that good, to be completely honest. But Tevez was a shining light in that league, man. He could create space on his own, create goals on his own, and I really appreciated the way that he approached the game, because especially at that time, really no other players were playing like that in the Prem. So I was like, dude, Tevez is a fucking baller. And so for that reason, I was like a big Manchester City fan. But ultimately, they didn't really fulfill my likings as a team, right? I liked Tevez as a player, but I didn't like City as a team. So I went on the search. At that point, I was 2-3 years deep into my footballing watching career, and I understood the sport pretty well because I was watching 5-8 games a week. So I was consuming a lot of football.
Junkie,
man.
bro.
Yeah. I was just consuming a lot of football. And so I felt like at that time I knew what I wanted. I just hadn't found it yet. And then in 2012, in the UEFA Super Cup, so the Europa League winners against the Champions League winners. That year it was Chelsea against Atletico Madrid. And Atletico won, I think, like 4-0, 4-1. But it wasn't the scoreline that got me. It was a style of play. Radamel Falcao, Adrian Martinez on one side, Raul Garcia, they had Thiago in the midfield, Miranda, Godin. It was an incredible team. an incredible team. And I was like, this is exactly how I would play football. This is how I would coach a team. This is exactly what I want in a football team holistically. So from that point on, I never looked back. That one singular game dictated who I would cheer for the rest of my life, honestly. Because no matter how bad it gets, I will always be a colchonero. I'm committed.
I was just going to ask, how are you feeling now that it's kind of on the downfall?
Same thing. Kind of y'all both.
Yeah, exactly. We're on the same.
Actually, all three of us. I'll talk about my team in a sec, but yeah, honestly.
So you were drawn to like their play style more or less.
I really was. And the thing is, even at that time, people were like, Atleti are a defensive team. But for me, they used defense as a means to counter. They used defense as a means to transition. And Atletico, from 2012 to 2016, maybe even 2017, the best team in transition on the planet. And they did it by doing defense first. I know a lot of people at the time obviously hated. And now they're a lot more defensive, but I think it's just circumstantial. But even then, when like in 2014, when they made that final run, people were like, how the fuck are Atleti doing it? Yeah. People were shocked and a little pissed because, again, the playing style was so different. But
it wasn't how football is supposed to be played.
Exactly.
People really bring that up, man.
It's funny you bring that up because there's no really right way to play football.
Exactly.
And a lot of people will make fun of like either Atletico Madrid or Simeone for their play style, but then they'll go on to praise Mourinho and like, you win however you manage to win.
Yeah,
you know, it could be ugly, it could be defensive, whatever you call it, but there's no right to play football.
As long as you're not pulling a gun on the fucking field, you're fine. Like, you're fine, football, man.
It's football. And so, the way I see Atleti right now, it's been a long string of bad transfers. In theory, a lot of the transfers look good on paper, but almost none of them have worked out, man. We're still looking for a right back since Juan Fran left, man. We tried Santi Arias when he had a good 2018 World Cup. He played for like half a season. We loaned him out. We had Kieran Trippier. He was good. Kieran Trippier was good for one good year. He did. But then he got disinterested, and he was like, take me back to England. So we're still looking for that right back. Same thing with the left back position. We got Renan Lodi. On paper, a great signing, man. And we got him for good money, too. But he just could not figure out La Liga. Ultimately, he was a good player, and he's still a decent player, man. But he still did not live up to the shoes that Felipe Luis, for example, left, man. And then we had Godin, we had Miranda at one point. We still don't have a good center back other than Savic, in my opinion. Chema Jimenez is always injured. And then the backups, Mario Hermoso, way too erratic. Felipe, the ex-Porto player, just not good enough. And when Simeone doesn't trust you, you know it because he doesn't play you. Felipe barely plays. He only plays when we're really just strung out the back and we have no other decisions. And then in the midfield, it's just the same story. Dude, we're playing Axel Witsel, who's a midfielder, in center back position. We don't have any good options, man. And then up top, Angel Correa has been good. He's been solid. But he just hasn't reached that elite level.
Yeah, he's not the guy to rely on.
Exactly.
Whether he's playing for the club or I wouldn't put him as my number 9 and rely on him. No, I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't either. And when we got Thomas Lemar, after popping off from Monaco, on the other side with Bernardo Silva, Kylian Mbappe, that same team that went on that crazy run that ultimately lost to Juventus. That same team, we got Lemar, popped off in France. Just could not do the same thing for us in Spain.
It would be y'all that gets the wrong Monaco player, man.
We got the wrong one. We got the wrong one.
We got the wrong one, man.
Yeah, bro. And we're just trying so many other players. Mateus Cunha, the Brazilian, he plays, but he doesn't really fulfill the role that Simeone would like him to. Griezmann left, and that was a horrible decision on his part because he completely lost form, faith in the sport, honestly. He's back now, but he's just not the same. He's still a really good player, but he's just not the same. And you could say that about every other player. Koke is still a solid player, but he's getting up there in age. He's losing a little bit of his mobility in the midfield. We loaned out Saul last year to fucking Chelsea. That shows you how much we trusted him, man. So this whole team collectively just isn't working out.
How's the Paul working for you? The Paul is a player that I would go to war with. Like, if I need one player to go to war with me against a whole army, I'm taking the Paul with me, and I'm probably winning it. And it's crazy that Simeone just doesn't play him enough. Doesn't like his play style.
So I think that's what it comes down to. I think it's play style. Simeone, I don't think. Honestly, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know why we at Atleti got the Paul. Because I don't think we use him in the right spots, man. We play him in the position that he plays, like right center mid. But since we play so defensive, the ball can only pass sideways, man. He can't really do much with the ball when he does get it. So he's not utilized correctly.
No. The thing about you guys playing the Atletico Madrid with the Simeone way, it's so hard to, once a few selected players leave, like you mentioned, all the Miranda, Godin, Felipe, all those players, it's hard to find the right set of players that play that kind of way. It's hard to transform a player to play the Simeone way. You kind of just got to find them, and you know. So it makes sense that all these transfer, like you said, on paper, they look great. Amazing transfer, cheap money, whatever. You can get them for cheap. So at the end of the day, it might just not work out because it's just not meant to be. They just don't play that Simeone way. Yeah.
That's actually a really good point, man, because that's ultimately what it's coming down to, bro.
Yeah.
Is that the Simeone way just isn't for 90% of all footballers. It just isn't. They're still really like Lamar's talented as hell, man.
Yeah.
It's a really good footballer. And when Lamar, which is only like 10% of the time, has a good game, he's one of the best players on the pitch for us. But it's just so erratic because he just has to do so much in the Simeone side. And I think the pinnacle of that, the pinnacle example of that is probably Joao Felix. An incredibly talented player. And the thing is, he's still one of our best players, but output-wise, as far as goals scored, assists created, he's just not up there. He's just not up there. And I think it's just chalked down to how we're playing right now. If Felix was on a more free-flowing side, I don't think he'd be better, because I do think he's really good for us, but he would have more output. He'd score more goals. He'd get more assists. Yeah. He's just not going to get that with Atleti. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah, I see that get brought up a lot now, though, in regards to Joao Felix and his output. Like, people are kind of saying, like, is he thinking about making that next move to a different club? Yeah. Given that Atletico usually doesn't spend this much money on a player, what was it, 120 mil? Yeah. Do you see them at some point letting go of Joao Felix and, in a way, getting rid of him to let him prosper somewhere else?
I definitely could, especially the moment that Felix himself and his agent says, I want out. I think the moment he says those words, Atletico, I don't think are even going to fight for him. Yeah. They'll be like, all right, we kind of get it. But I think the reason why that decision is easier is because of the Griezmann money we made, right? We sold Griezmann for 120, basically the same thing we bought Felix for, but then we bought back Griezmann for 30. So we made a lot of money off of Griezmann, a lot of money. So if we do sell Felix, it actually won't be that big of a loss, man, and we just regroup once again. And it's the thing is, it's not like losing Griezmann that first time, because when Griezmann first left, he was top 3 players on the planet. He was third choice for Ballon d'Or. Yeah. Griezmann was incredible for us, man. And Felix isn't even top 10 in that conversation. Yeah. So losing Felix, I don't think really would hurt anybody. I'd be a little bummed that it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to. I'd definitely be bummed. I'd definitely be bummed, but I'd be okay with it in the end.
Money-wise,
Money-wise and just decision-wise on the pitch. Maybe we could use that money to get just somebody else that might work out just better. Not talent-wise, but just within the system of the way Atleti play.
You two just went in depth about your football origins. Juventus over here, Liverpool. Juventus over here, Atletico over here, Atletico over here. And I stuttered and I had a Freudian slip because that is my team, Liverpool. And I just got to go through my intro real quick because I actually don't think I've ever expressed how I came upon this Liverpoolian side, if that's a word.
Nah.
I grew up watching Liga MX, man. I fell in love with Liga MX 2000, specifically football. Some of the best football that league has seen, with giants, Chivas, teams like Pumas, America, even Tigres wasn't even that notable back then, man. It was a different Liga MX, man.
Pre-Tuca.
Pre-Tuca. Toluca was actually pretty big back then.
Okay.
So I watched that, man, for like the first 10 years of my life. I fell in love with the sport, watching specifically that 2006 Chivas team where almost the whole starting lineup was starting for the national team. It was like, I think 6 or 7 of those players started for the national team at the World Cup. So it was just a team that bred talent, Mexicans only, as we all famously know about them. Yeah. And played incredible football. So I kind of like almost became biased towards Liga MX. I almost became too accustomed to that because I never looked elsewhere. I never even thought about the possibility of there being other players outside of Mexico, man. I think I found out that there was European soccer like in 2009, bro. I was like 11. I was like, wait, there's fucking football across seas?
Yeah.
Oh. And it wasn't. I started watching European football like in the 2010s, right? Catching up with like the Barcelona team that was remarkable. The early Real Madrid teams with Ronaldo on them, but I didn't really pick a team. I really didn't have a team to root for, and that's a big thing when watching European football, is having a team to root for, man. Yeah. And so I just like you, man, I went I went on the lookout. I started looking. I started searching, man. Packed my bags, and I looked for a more prosperous future. And I traveled everywhere, man. I went to Germany. I was this close to becoming a Hertha BSC fan, bro.
Oh, yeah?
This close.
Berlin?
Hertha Berlin, bro. This close. Disappointed after watching them for 2 games, moved on. Then I went over to England because I was like, this is probably the league I'm going to watch the most. Let me see who gets my attention here. And we're talking about like 2014, 2015 Liverpool that I started watching. And, we're talking about players like Emre Can, Adam Lallana, back when he was a god at Liverpool. Simon Mignolet, the goalkeeper, who was actually pretty good back then. A feisty-ass Coutinho, fucking disappearing between lines, man.
Yeah.
And I think it was just after like a few games of watching them, the thing that got me the most was the whole "You'll Never Walk Alone" anthem and chant that just resonated with me so much. I was like, the fact that a football team can remind you of that perspective in life week in, week out.
Yeah.
Remarkable, man. Remarkable. I fell in love with them, man. I fell in love with that team, with Anfield, with the energy there. I really do like a good, loud stadium, so that fulfilled that side of it for me. And I just joined along the Liverpool train, and what followed was fucking ecstasy, bro. Ecstasy. Like fucking some drug, bro. Like the fact that within 2-3 years, I caught them right before they went on that huge peak, man.
Yeah.
Becoming an incredible oiled machine with Jurgen Klopp at the helm, Mo Salah's rise, Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino. The list goes on, man. And I mean, I had some of the happiest days of my life watching these Liverpool side from like the past 4 or 5 years. Just an incredible journey, man. Incredible. But I was also very well aware of where the state of the team was and that this is something special. And probably something that I won't experience for a long time, just knowing how football is. And I'm sure that as a Juve fan, as an Atletico Madrid fan, we can all relate on the topic of this is going to end soon.
Damn.
And we might be seeing that for Liverpool this time around, man. We might be seeing that. Maybe not as dire as my counterparts here, but it might become that. It might reach that point in a couple of years. We'll see. But for now, I'm still happy, man. I'm satisfied. I'm not going to complain about it. Happy guy. And yeah, we've had some tough results, but overall, we're still in the running for Champions League regardless. We're a tough team to beat in a knockout setting. And I love it, man. I'm down. League-wise, we're done, though.
Yeah, league-wise are done.
Done.
No, league-wise are done, but
Done.
Champions League, I still think you have a good chance, man. Because you just got Luis Diaz, who's in his prime. He's going to give you 5-6 more years if he likes to stay in Liverpool.
He got injured, though, man.
I know. I mean, I'm just
worried
saying.
for my boy.
I'm just saying, like on this big scope of things.
Absolutely.
And then Mo Salah, I would be worried about him just because he's probably the oldest out of that front three. So maybe he's got two more good years left in him.
Fastest
but you still have
Champions League.
Darwin Núñez.
Yes.
And that guy, I think, could last for a long.
He's got 10 more years in him.
Yeah, he's 23.
Yeah. It's okay for him to have one.
And he's only going to get better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. It's looking a lot better than y'all, for sure.
That's what I'm getting at.
I agree. I agree. I got nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to relate to y'all in the sense of football origins. But in the sense of state of teams, we are different, brother.
We're very different, man.
So you don't think that Klopp is like kind of in strings right now, walking in strings?
It's a good question, man. Honestly, I mean, if there's ever a time, it would have to be now, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, thing is though, I don't think so. The culture he has implemented at the club, the winning mentality he's given these players. I mean, just a few months ago, we were talking about this team potentially winning all 4 trophies that they were able to win.
That's so true.
That was a conversation that was genuinely being had heading into that Champions League final. Didn't happen, but still, the fact that they even got that close, like, come on, man, let's not overreact. They're having a tough start to the season, and I don't fully think it's all on Klopp. I do think partially it is, but not fully. And so I can excuse him, man, easily. I can easily excuse it.
On the pitch, what do you think is wrong? If you're taking the blame out of Klopp a little bit, what do you think is wrong in the pitch? Because this is the team hasn't changed that much. You had Núñez as a striker. You got Luis Diaz instead of Mane, but the team hasn't changed much.
Dude, that's what's so bizarre is that, like you said, the team hasn't changed. It's like, it's really tough because I've like gone through like Liverpool Reddit. I've gone through like comment section on YouTube. And I'm like, who has the answer? Does anybody actually know what's going on? Everyone's baffled, bro. There's like this overall confusion with just like, maybe, I do think that it's kind of like a mental fatigue of the aggressive nature this team has held for so long. I mean, the gegenpress, the counterattacking, the ability to just be so perfect tactically, I feel like that takes a toll after a while, man. And a team like Man City, they're able to fix it and deal with it because they got people coming in every fucking offseason that can fill in for
so you're saying because they keep mostly the same players, it takes kind of like a mental toll on you. Competing at the highest level in all 4 competitions, year in, year out. Man City can do it, like you said, because they bring players in and out. Since Guardiola doesn't give a lot of play time, like you don't have a secured spot, a lot of players go in and out. We saw that with Sterling. Even great players don't even get that much playing time.
Yeah.
We saw another example, Jesus. So, but with Liverpool, they keep their players. And maybe,
it's the same guys.
A mental toll.
That's why I thought last year, low-key hurt a lot when we lost by 1 point because I felt like that Liverpool team maxed out. Like we did everything we could have done. Every week that we had, we managed to pull out the results. Matip getting like a game-winning header. Like everyone was coming through for the team. I was like, we're getting the breaks we need. But ultimately, we still came short. And that's just, to me, that was demoralizing. I can't imagine the players like, fuck, dude. Playing at the level that they do every week. I feel like that kind of caught up to them in a sense. So maybe that's what's happening.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think for me, one thing that's really stood out for me as far as like diminished performances, Van Dijk, man. I think he's been a little off. And that goal just this past week against Arsenal, in that first one when Saka gets released on that right side, it's one-on-one for a split second, and he just lets Saka pass it laterally, and then Odegaard gets it through ball goal. And I feel like Van Dijk could have done a little bit better there, in my opinion. Prime Van Dijk would have gotten it. And we've seen mistakes too in previous games with Van Dijk. He's just a little bit slower this year, I think. But that you bring up a really good point. It's that fatigue, possibly. The reason why City don't do it, dude, they got Ake playing at center back now, and they just brought in Akanji. So, like, they can rotate like crazy. Diaz, Stones, they don't have to play every week now. Laporte, it's insane.
5 quality center backs right there.
5, dude, 5. So, yeah, that's actually a really good point as to probably why Liverpool are just having a rough start this season.
Rough start. And that's why I think that outlook-wise, it's Champions League or bust from now on because that's what fits this mold the best. Just a knockout setting is ultimately what this team is best at.
Maybe a little FA Cup.
Hey, a little FA Cup action.
A little FA Cup action.
Carabao Cup.
Come on.
I like that we're keeping it there. It's like we're labeling it as a rough start. We're not like making anything crazy out of the situation, calling it Klopp out or like sack. You know, because it can go out of hand a lot of times whenever people discuss. I think it's a rough start and they'll be back. You know,
agreed.
Great conversation so far. Thank you so much for being here, man. And
thank you.
I just want to get some more, I guess, information into what you do, so our viewers who don't follow you can kind of know what you're up to. So DFO, Debatable Football Opinions. Why did you start that up?
Well, I started it off because I followed an account called Bad Football Opinions, and then I also followed another one called Good Football Opinions, right? So I know. So the bad one, they're kind of, well, one of them is kind of well known. The other one, it's no longer around. But one of them made fun of people who had really bad opinions. That was the whole idea. The other one, on the other hand, praised people who had really good opinions and good football knowledge, right? So, each page had its own beauty, but I'm like, how about we mix the two and we have like a middle ground sort of thing, And then my friend brought up, hey, let's start a football page. And with that idea, and then my friend kind of inspired me to do so, I was like, yeah, why not? Let's just do like a middle ground. So I started Debatable Football Opinions, and it's been like that ever since. And I always eventually I shaped it to be like an account for the people. So even though it was me managing it and I do show myself and my own opinions here and there, it's mostly an account for the people. They give me their own opinions through DMs on their, I do polls in my stories that are 99% submitted by followers. My opinions, the posts that I make are opinions from different people scattered all over the internet. So it's just an account where people can give their own opinion and not be judged because, this is a bad opinion. This is great, Just have a great football conversation and a debate,
Debatable football opinions.
It seems more productive.
It seems way more productive.
It's actually conducive. What are you thinking like long term with like DFO? What do you see it ultimately becoming? Is it just kind of blowing up even more on Instagram and YouTube, or?
Well, it never the account never really blew overnight. It's kind of a process of day-to-day operation. Just taking every game, I cover it, and then I move on to the next one, whatever. That's what I try to do. I try to do everything, take everything day by day. And the account is growing, and we're kind of spreading to different social medias as well, kind of getting the gist of those. But for now, I'm taking everything day by day. And as the account grows, if there are bigger and better opportunities, I would love to work with football more in the long run. And if my account can help me do so, That's perfect.
It's a huge plus.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a debatable opinion where you're just like, fuck, I don't know what side to take? Anyone you can think of off the top of your head, maybe?
The Neymar Ronaldinho was there for a long time. Like I always go back and forth.
Oh, literally just Neymar or Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
Shit. That's a good one.
Nowadays I go more Neymar, but back then it was a little bit more debatable, I guess. Yeah.
I think I'm going Neymar as well if I had to put it out there. Yeah.
See, this debate has been a whole thing for years now, and now that Neymar has been kind of establishing himself as one of the greats, it's a little bit leaning more towards Neymar. But yeah, there's always, there's the thing is like whenever you have an opinion, you can always change it based on like what things are happening.
Yeah, you learn.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
educate yourself.
Yeah, or things change. For example, TAA was the best right back at one point, and in 2017, 2018. And now he's going through stuff. Yeah, I wanted to be respectable.
You don't gotta be respectful.
So yeah, like things change. That's the whole interesting thing about debates. Everybody will always bring up different arguments, different things.
So true, because there are people who die for Ronaldinho, and maybe they have a good point.
Yeah.
Like it just is what it is. That's really fun though.
Yeah, you kind of highlight the beautiful thing about football, which is there truly is no truth.
No,
there's just no truth.
There's no truth.
At the end, I can think Neymar's better, but there will be no way for us to truly see who was actually better.
There's no right answer in that. And the thing I love about just debating football, no right answer, and I love when people are open-minded. Like there are so many people who will down the hill and be like, yeah, Ronaldinho, one of the greats. I made me love football, whatever. But it's so nice when two people can sit down in a table, just like we are, and just talk football, open-minded. And you actually brought up a great point. Like you've been talking all day about how we haven't beaten a European nation, and now I'm a little bit more worried about how Argentina. It's like, fuck, he's so right. We haven't, Instead of me being a hard-headed and going like, nah, we're gonna win the World Cup. It doesn't matter. All these
Zero
stuff
ball knowledge.
Yeah. So that's the beauty of. At its best, that's what my account is. Just a place where everybody can be open-minded about their own opinions and just have a great debate.
Is it frustrating for you though? Because you are operating on the internet where open-mindedness is pretty rare. Is it frustrating constantly having to see or do you like it? Like when people just shut someone else down solely because off of just you're American, you can't talk football type of comments or
there are, you can go to any of my posts and it'll have like 500 comments, so obviously I can't check how everybody is behaving, and I try to restrict people who are very either very just rude, toxic. very toxic. At some point, to some extent, you can restrict people from commenting, you can block them, whatever, so to keep the community as healthy as possible, because the whole point is to just be as rational as open-minded as you can be. But they slip through the cracks, and you're always gonna find occasional fighting, name calling, a bunch of stuff. It's just what happens. It's in our human nature.
I think so. I do really think so.
I find myself, I'm the admin for our socials, and I find myself sometimes barking back, man. I had a guy comment on your take about Argentina facing good competition. He's like, but what about when you go to Bolivia and you have to face the altitude? And I respond, I'm like, bro, Bolivia's ass, bro. Like, there's nothing else to it here, man. Fuck the altitude. But that itself can be kind of fun, I can be a little toxic back, but I think it's just representative of the sport and the banter. And at the end of the day, it's just an opinion, There's not much else to it.
And you also learn, I've been doing it for 3 years. At first, fighting with followers about certain topics hurt me a lot more. They got into my head a lot more. Hate comments or anything, stuff like that. But you just learn to live with it, or you can always kind of have fun with it and troll them or stuff like that. It's super fun. So I don't really get frustrated anymore. That's fun.
Yeah.
Do you put your opinion out there too, along with the poll? Or do you just put the poll and then you just see what chaos ensues?
No, I do exactly that. I just put the story
and you're like, have fun.
And it's so annoying because people will actually, let's say I put Messi or Ronaldo, Messi wins, right? Yeah. All the Ronaldo fanboys, for example, will go to my DM and like, what are you saying? How can Messi? Wait, I'm not doing this. This is you guys. I have thousands of people voting, and I can't exactly direct you to those thousands of people. Right. So they take it out on me. I'm like, no, I'm just doing the poll. Don't shoot the messenger.
The other day, I saw you. I think it was just when Barcelona tied Inter and essentially got knocked out of Champions League.
Essentially,
I think your time you posted you made a post about that right away, and I think a lot of people just took that as disrespect to Barcelona, but it's I'm providing the space for us to talk about it. That's all I'm doing. I'm not posting this so that you can just shit on Barcelona.
Yeah.
So I can see people just taking it personally. Like,
bro.
no matter what you do, even if you have no opinion, they're gonna find something to take personal, which it could even be the timing of your post.
But then that's how I learned to just take it a little bit lighter and just have fun with it. For example, today I made a reel today about how last season Barcelona went to Europa League, right? And to ensure that this wouldn't happen again, they signed Lewandowski, Koundé, Christensen, right? And I made that post making fun of how they went to Europa League again, despite all this. And I made that post with a Juventus jersey.
That's so smart. It was good.
And I looked at my badge at the end of the video because that's banter, right? I can have a little bit of fun. Yeah, I can poke fun at your team from going to Europa League. And yeah, you could laugh at me for being a supporter of Juventus, and we're also going to Europa League. Or I could also have fun with it myself. So it's just have fun with things.
Yeah, I like that post. That was actually really smart because I was like, oh shit, he found a way to shit on a team
and shit on myself,
but because your own team is ass.
Yeah.
No offense.
No.
One question I have more on like the work side, because like when I'm managing all the socials, bro, it's like all day, man, just constantly trying to come up with story ideas or posting on YouTube or making a TikTok. Like how time consuming is it managing an account like this? Especially with the amount of content that you produce every day, bro.
It's kind of like before it was like, okay, I'm gonna put a few hours into this, whatever. But now I kind of learned to arrange my time a lot better. Now it's more of I have my phone on me, and whenever I have a little bit of free time, I'll hop on the DMs, I'll read whatever people have to say, I'll make a few story posts. I organize my time a lot better. But before, when I first started and the page was kind of kicking off and people realized, oh, I can put my own opinion onto this. Awesome. Let's blow the guy up and see if he can feature a story poll. It was a pain in the ass. It was very time consuming. I used to work like 2-3 jobs, and I would go to the restroom in the middle of my job. Five minutes going to the restroom. Okay, let's pop as many fucking polls as possible. Now it's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna go out to eat some McDonald's. Okay, I'll take my phone with me.
It's a natural part of your daily routine.
Exactly.
That's nice.
Yeah, and I haven't looked at that. It's kind of like natural. Like, okay, got 10 minutes of free time. Let's pop on my phone.
Part of your life.
See what people are talking about on Twitter. See what's trending.
Yeah, it's like because I can be oftentimes just stressing up in my room, just trying to. But then you hit me up today, and you're like, "Hey, I'm gonna be at a coffee shop just doing some DFO work," and I was just thinking, bro. DFO is living nice, man. It is a calm life. If he's doing the same, meanwhile I'm just stressing out in my fucking room, like I gotta make content.
You gotta learn how to kind of take control of it instead of it taking control of you. Like I arrived to Austin here to this location like 30, 45 minutes before I was supposed to be here, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a coffee, get some DFO work done, just go through DMs, and nothing crazy. If I ever get stressed, turn off the phone.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. But it's a big audience, bro. 75K, no, 73. That's what I saw.
Don't overhype it. You guys just beat me to it. You guys have like 300 more. Yeah.
But thing is, man, hey, we're both on track to continue building big communities. And I just think it's dope, man. An honor it's been to have you on here. And it's just cool that you live so close by, man, honestly.
Since I live so close, I'll be here for the public apology on January. We can arrange something. Yeah.
Oh, we'll definitely arrange something. We will definitely arrange something.
I want you to kiss Argentina.
I'll pay for your gas.
Pay for his gas, bro. Yeah, man. What a hell of an episode, man. We talked about everything, man.
This was a lot of fun, man.
And,
really appreciate you coming on. This was really fun, man.
I feel assured that we would love to have you back on.
I'm happy to be here
soon, man.
Like
soon.
I brought up, I've done this kind of thing before over Zoom and stuff, but nothing beats just sitting at a table.
Hell
you guys were super cool, very welcoming.
Dude, you got to come through for during the World Cup, because we're gonna be doing a lot of World Cup content.
I'd love that.
Watch some games with us and hop on the post game analysis and daily roundups.
Super dope,
man.
Yeah, that'd be really fun.
Okay.
Especially if Argentina's playing that day.
Oh, come through.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Come through.
If you want to be around us.
I was gonna say maybe not when they play Mexico.
In the group. Oh, dude, Mexico, Argentina. We should do something.
Hey,
y'all want that? Y'all want that?
I'm trying to have a fruitful relationship. That could be fun. That could be fun. Regardless, man, thank you for coming on. Anything you want to plug?
Yeah. Plug your socials, bro.
I'm always so shy when it comes to plugging my stuff.
No, plug it. Fucking look at the camera. Look at the camera.
All right, here we go. It's just
listen, folks.
I think I'm on every social media that you can think of. I'm mostly just my Instagram. If you just want to have a good time debating football, I make little clips and reels on YouTube, TikTok, and I'm on Facebook where I have 3 likes. One of them is my mom, I think. The other one is my own account. I have like 3 likes on Facebook.
I gotta get.
But realistically, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. There's a link in my bio on my Instagram. All that.
Perfect. And they can find you at what?
It's literally all debatable, either Debatable Football Opinions or Debatable FO for short. There's a lot of social medias that let you put the whole thing.
We'll link it. We'll link it in the description and
Thank you,
everything.
guys.
But once again, man, pleasure to have you, and we'll catch all you guys soon, man. Peace.
Peace.